Well, they're not doing anything anymore. No, but I hate.
I first learned about role-playing games and D&D when I was really young. I don't remember how young, I took a long hiatus, and when I was around 20, I played a couple of games, but recently I have been playing in the weekly games here at the Adventures League at the Portal for about 3 years, nonstop.
Okay, what essentially got you into playing D&D in the beginning? What kind of drives you to keep on playing?
I love the game. I love the fantasy aspect. I love science fiction. I love fantasy. I like playing with people around a table, collaborative storytelling. Having fun with people, telling jokes in person, and it's the challenges and the unknowns. Rolling the die, not knowing what it's going to come up with, but really hoping for that success are all things that I like about the game.
Hello, my name is Jackson Gunnelson.
And Jackson, how long have you been playing D&D?
I have been playing D&D for about 4 years now, but I only recently got into it about 2 years ago.
And what got you to wanting to play D&D?
Initially, it was something to do with my friend group, something that we could say, hey, let's sit down and play. But eventually, once I got into theater, a lot of my friends in the theater actually played D&D, and they invited me to a couple games, and from there I just kept playing. The bare minimum is having an app on your phone that can roll dice and a sheet of paper with pencil. That's the bare minimum. You can access most of the books online through PDFs or wikis. And if you don't want to buy the books, you don't have to, which is goes back to the accessibility. But if you do want a book, the first one you should buy, like out of all of them, is the Player's Handbook, which we actually have 2 of them here. The Player's Handbook has all the basics for character creation, for both races and classes, and it has a whole bunch of items and just ideas and concepts of the game, while staying basic enough for you to understand. You can take what you want. The glossary is very easy to access. And it has a list of all the spells that are in the base game. And they've added spells with other books and materials, but this is a good starting point. It's about $50. I think it's worth it. The books are very nice, and even if you only end up playing once or twice, they still have nice illustrations. You can look at them. But yeah, other than that, I recommend getting a dice kit. Specifically, you can use a dice roller app on your phone, but a dice kit will have all the essentials: D4, D6, D8, D10, percent dice, D12, and the famous D20. D20 is what everyone knows. There was a session that I played last semester that ended. No way could I have predicted how it would have ended. Essentially, they were on a major fetch quest to decide the fate of the world, yada, yada, yada. They took their money and just went home, which I was in character for all of the characters. But suddenly a giant dragon shows up and starts destroying the main town. And they really didn't care at first, and then they decided, hey, maybe we did have something to do with this, so let's go solve it. So no, they didn't straight up fight the dragon. No, that would be obvious. What they did was they took the cab driver, a gnome named Cabby that I came up with to explain why they were able to move great distances. They took him, they charmed him and told him, go fight the dragon. And now what charm does is it makes the character want to do something, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they do it, right? So he wanted to fight the dragon, but alas, he was incapable of doing so. So what they ended up doing was they polymorphed him into a dragon himself. Still, a smaller dragon versus big dragon, and then they used enlarge on him, and then all of a sudden it became a kaiju battle. And is that what I was expecting the finale to be? Not at all, but that's what happened, and because it was all stuff that can happen, I went with it, and it was a whole lot of fun. All the players seemed to enjoy it, and it's a fun story to tell.
Recent game, I was playing a female tiefling paladin warlock who was very charismatic and used her charms as a weapon. And at the end of the adventure, we went up against a gold dragon, and it was way too powerful. We weren't supposed to be able to fight it and kill it, but that's what the party decided, and it wasn't the smart idea to make. So with my last minute Hail Mary, I proclaimed, I seduced the dragon! And I rolled, and so lucky I succeeded. So that was a great moment because it really wasn't what classic D&Ds think of sword and sorcery.
One of the characters that I came up with is a warlock, and for those who don't know what a warlock would be, is you get your powers from a higher being. So whether it be an elder god, a demon, etc., that's where they get their powers. So my joke was that I'd have basically a stoner go to a party where an archfey would happen to be, and archfeys do that shit all the time, pardon my French. They go out and party constantly, so the joke is they just hung out one night at a party, and the archfey said, hey, do you want powers? And the guy said, yeah, sure, why not? And he has no grand purpose, he has nothing to do, it's just an archfey choosing the least responsible person to have powers and giving it to them to see what would happen.
So another story. I was playing a character. I was playing a wood elf monk, a character by the name of Bruce. He was a very optimistic and happy guy. He liked to fight and joke around and just generally be happy. And Bruce was pretty new to adventuring, and he had met up with a group who knew each other more than they knew him, and they were adventuring through a dungeon. It was an ancient Mayan tomb, and they came into a room where there was on a plinth a nice crystal vase and a nice crystal glass, and there was this sort of silvery powder at the bottom. And one of the other characters very mischievously took out his water skin and filled the crystal pitcher back up with water. And when it filled up, the liquid wasn't clear. It was actually silver like mercury. And he took the pitcher and he poured a glass and he offered it to my character. And very happily, very trustingly, Bruce took the goblet and took a swig and promptly turned to stone.
So how did your character get out of that situation?
Oh, he didn't. He was frozen in stone for 1,000 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will be playing this game until I get bored of it, which hopefully isn't for a while. They're adding a whole lot of new subclasses. Every time they announce a new Unearthed Arcana, I read up on it and I tell my friends, hey, oh my god, the new Fey Barbarian is crazy. The new Fire Druid doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's still cool. And as long as it keeps up the momentum with this type of stuff, as long as, you know, the stories on Reddit or 4chan keep coming, I think I'll have interest in this game for a while. It might change, but I think it'll still be there. Especially when you're playing with people that you care about, it's really something magical because especially growing older in college and moving forward, it's hard to have these hobbies. And D&D is a great one because while the books and dice and everything is nice to have, all you really need is to be able to communicate with the people you're playing with. And, you know, in person it's easier, obviously, but I'm setting up one on Discord soon because we're all over the country, we're all in different, but we still want to hang out and do something together. And being able to say, hey, let's play D&D for 3 hours on Sunday nights, it's an opportunity that a lot of people don't have, and that's what really drives it to be a game that continues to be fun.
I have a bit of an addictive personality, to be honest. I keep coming back because there's just something I can't get from anything else that I absolutely love. Pretending to be other people, creating a character that has completely different tendencies to myself. Maybe creating a character that's fascist, or creating a character that likes torturing people, and exploring what it means to have those boons and goals and deficits other than myself. Playing another gender to myself and exploring what that is, the creativity of pretending to be something other than myself, and really doing it honestly to learn what other people go through. That is really fun for me. This game, which is known as one of the nerdiest games that you can play, with all of the negative connotations of sweaty, overweight guys in their parents' basements, doing extra explanations on meaningless nitpickery on the internet. That extreme stereotype, and this game used to be associated with that extreme negative stereotype. The funny thing is about this game is that you need to leave the basement. You need to meet with other people in real life and interact and be social in real life to play this game. So that is one of the great things I love about this game, is getting out and meeting other people and being reminded, not so subtly, that, hey, it might be a little appropriate if you had some social graces. Those wonderful nerdy friends of ours who might not have the best hygiene get reminded to bathe. So that's one of the things I love about this game. That's a misunderstanding. A lot of people think about this incredibly nerdy game requires
friends, and that's one of the great things, that you can meet people, and instead of spending the night alone, you can go out and hang out with people, and that's something that I just really love about Dungeons and Dragons.